Welcome back to the highest level of Beyond All Reason, with one of our first competitive matches featuring the new updates to the third faction, the Legion. In this game, inspired by Total Annihilation, it's absolutely free to play, but it will cost you a big chunk of your free time and even more of your sanity. But if you'd like to know more, it'd be awesome if you could smash that like button, or maybe even subscribe. Help me count the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,004 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better as we join the faction wars. What does that mean? We got 3 players on each team, and each team must feature one commander of each faction. Starting things off with the Cortex, we have Pro Randy. Next to him, Inda Club as Armada, and also Doubtful. And last, but certainly not least, our Legion Commander, Meow Cat Meow. Or maybe Chairman Meow for short. On the other side to the north, Aiden, our Cortex Commander, Vic as Armada, and Mird as the Legion Commander to start things off. The differences between the factions, mechanically, not that different in how you acquire metal and energy, whether it's getting metal extractors, adding on wind turbines, this map pretty good for the average wind speed, solar collectors, fusion cores as time goes on. But when it comes to the units, and while technically you can share units with your teammates, whether it's these early wheelies or the tier 3 Soul Invictus, it really comes down to what you're able to build and kind of progress through the early game. And now with the addition of Legion, which has been updated with a full complement of tier 1 units. That means every unit in tier 1 has its own model, animations, and most importantly, balance complaints. So, as you get further up the tiers, it's not quite as filled out, but completely playable as Legion inches closer to a full release and as part of the normal kind of rank setup of the game. But very generally, and there's so many exceptions that it's almost impossible to call it a rule. Honestly, this rule is pretty much the English language in general, but when it comes to the Cortex, they feature a lot of strong yet slow units. Okay, units that are hard to beat in a head-up fight. Whether it's the Juggernaut at tier 3, brute tanks early on, the stable grunts. There's a lot of strong options and compositions that are pretty intuitive. Meanwhile, the Armada is a bit more specialized. Usually their units are a little weaker, but quicker. They can maneuver around the battlefield. They have a little more specialty, whether it's in the early game, the Ticks, and then sharpshooters, or things like Razorbacks as one of the quickest late game units. And then the Legion is a bit of a mixed bag as well. They have some of the hardest hitting low tier units, whether it's the early tanks. They feature a lot of heat rays, which are kind of long range, not really long range lasers, but more damage over time weapons that have to stay on target. But if they can maximize their DPS, as well as napalm, which coats the field with fire. Though you have to be careful because friendly fire isn't. Your units and your teammate units are just as vulnerable to napalm as your enemies. Much to, well, usually everyone's dismay. Aiden and Randy going back and forth. The Helios tanks battling it out. We are on the new Lightbringer update, which features, well, there's hundreds of of small but noticeable and context changes to the lighting of the game without hurting performance. It's quite impressive so far. As we go on, I think it'll become more and more apparent. But the Helios tanks overrunning. Those heat rays just burning through. And, well, the numbers game here is clearly not adding up for the Southern team. Meanwhile, Aiden has pushed all the way forward. It appears that Mird is sharing the tanks with his teammates. In fact, did he just give? It looks like the teams have converted to Legion for the most part. Both Aiden and Vic are building Helios as the constructors were simply shared. That's the thing about Beyond All Reason. If you have a player of each faction, you can all be the same faction. And it seems like right now, these early tanks are the choice for both players on the team. So despite some slight differences in the cost of early economic things, it appears that they've decided the Helios tanks are the way to go as they're dueling it out. See the wreckage of, well, very similar units across the board. Not just tier 1 units, but like defenses, static defenses, and anti-air, stuff like that is also unique to each faction. Something to point out. The one thing you can't technically switch, that you can also share it if you like, is your commander. The commander, each commander is kind of similar in its functionality in this kind of version of the game, but what it can build is dependent on your faction. And the commander is by far your strongest constructor in the early game, with the most build power. So Aiden has made a lot of progress up to the north. Randy, though, is coming down. Mirrored is clearly focusing across the field. Going to the player view for a moment, which kind of explains a lot of the game is in darkness. The map is dark and full of terrible, terrible things. Though you can light it up with some D-guns in order to take out those early defenses. Aiden's still crushing through. If we look in the economy in the top right, the current metal per second in favor of the southern team by just a slight bit. Overall, the metal production as well to the south. They've given up a lot of map control in order to maximize their economy. A balance of energy, metal, and build power is required in order to maintain a good position. But Aiden maybe straying a bit far forward, trying to repair that single laser turret, but the heat rays will burn right through it. The commander itself is vulnerable, and Randy, this is risky business here, but Aiden's going to back off. Tier 2 is on the way. Even the spectators pointing it out. The advanced vehicle plant. So even though Legion is not fully completed, I think the most completed is the vehicle plant, where only one of the units is borrowed from the others. The anti-nuke, the mobile anti-nuke option. But we'll see what they choose to build. Now, the highlight units are the Inferno, which is a long-range, rapid-fire artillery choice with napalm, and the Prometheus, which is just a, well, heavy assault heat ray tank. It's like a Helios grew up and was angry at the world, pretty much. That might actually be the lore behind the names. I'm not exactly sure the context there, but so far the standoff mostly continues. Indy Club has been able to hold. We have a few... Oh, are those... Ah, the drones. The hive with drones. Hey, wait a second. There is a drone turret. The drone's very weak. Think like interceptors and for carriers in StarCraft 2. Or StarCraft 1, I guess. No, StarCraft 2 is more relevant because I don't think you can individually target. But, oh my. Wait. I thought that was it. The Medusa. The long-range rockets. Looking like a bit of a scorpion there. I think he's choosing not to fire. He's getting in range and fires off the rocket pods. Blasting through the Helios. The rest not quite close enough. The drones have an incredibly long range and are drawing a lot of fire here, clearly. Meanwhile, another Medusa coming out. It looks like Mirrored is sharing him with his teammates. The drone turret is taken out from afar. And we have a flak vehicle ready as well. Those drones getting shot out of the sky easily. Legion has by far the coolest flak. I don't know if it's the most effective, but they have like an anti-air minigun as opposed to the burst turrets of the other factions. Medusa targeting the commander, taking some hits. Each of those individual rockets not doing too much damage, but it adds up quite quickly. The standoff continues so far. We have the teams kind of set across the board, but Randy sneaks by with a group of Helios in behind the enemy lines. The tier 2 tech is coming online. Meanwhile, that pop-up turret, hard to target until it actually starts firing. The rockets keep shelling, but another counter Medusa is online. What is that laser? Wait, is that the Medusa targeting system? Does that... Interesting. Now, I think that means it can actually pick out its targets. Oh, homing rockets. So the targeting system allows it to keep the rockets on target as the salvo goes out, which is super cool. And also, I love that animation. That's what it's doing. It's painting the target. Randy getting caught up. Randy, where Randy? Randy getting real Randy with it. How is... Randy is also an Armada commander now. I'm not sure how that happened. Looks like Inda Club... Wait. Where is the Legion commander? No, Inda Club is Legion now. Randy was shared the Armada commander, but this one's getting hunted down. They can see it with radar. They don't have to get too close in order to be able to take it out. Randy a bit bold, trying to clear off some space. Down to the south, the Legion is pushing forth. Meanwhile, Medusa down the front line. Aiden takes a full volley from the targeted Medusa, which is trying to turn around. The D-gun's getting close. It's not quite in range. It's not going to at this rate. Carrier has arrived. The Mantis drone carrier truck, which is effectively a mobile version of that same turret we saw earlier in Aiden. The drones are enough. Takes it down. As much as I love the commentary, you know what? We'll let him go. All right. I do like how we can get the spectator commentary. But the drones, carriers, very strong units indeed. Some Noctua fighters. Noctua? Noctua? Noctua sounds right. Clearly, the Prometheus is online, but the Medusa tanks are doing a lot. Not really, more like long-range rocket systems. I know there are some technical terms there that are relevant, but the Prometheus is getting into range. Finally, will we see the heat rays? I think it can go right past those walls. Those are just tier 1. And meanwhile, a whole bunch of quick shot coming up. The Prometheus might be taken down. No, gladiators have been added in. They have incredibly long range, a lot more than you'd expect, and are shelling all the way across. The Medusa almost taken out, kind of getting caught on the edge here, jammed up on the edge of the divot, the edge of the valley, and will be taken down. And those things are incredibly expensive. As for the Prometheus, 1,200 metal apiece. For reference, an entire commander is 1.25k, 1,250. So the Medusa's 1,500. That is a lot of income. The entire team, on both teams, are mining or gathering or creating, all of the above, around 100 metal a second. So each of those going down is 15 seconds of the entire team's income at this stage. But the gladiators, are you not entertained? Are smashing forth, unleashing a whole bunch of their heavy rotary plasma cannons. I'm always surprised, like, I've used them a few times. That range is surprisingly long for a tank of that look and variety. They're very good at pushing forward. They're kind of squishy, as you might expect. Squishy might not be the right word, but not a bit brittle. We need to adjust our commentary from less flesh-based terms, not to be metalist. Medusa not able to hold, and the gladiators are pushing forward. Air on each side. Still, now remember, at the end of the day, it's about how many commanders are left. Does your team have any? Some goblins. The tier 1 bots on the front line. Oh, what do we have here? The Cleaver. The Legion artillery vehicles. 460 metal. artillery vehicles, quite strong and for all factions, but all vehicles, well, many vehicles suffer from needing a firing cone. They need to be facing the right direction, especially artillery. So, managing them and making sure that direction is maintained is incredibly important. Interesting, it seems like they're firing cluster bombs that kind of explode and hit the area around it. So maybe not, yeah, 40 DPS is the total, but quite good, it seems, for clearing out smaller amounts of units. Or smaller units, rather. Legion kind of bucking some of the stereotypes of certain unit varieties. Meanwhile, the gladiators trying to sneak by. Advanced metal extractor. Also interesting to point out, Legion metal extractors mine less metal, which seems like a bad thing until you realize they also gather energy. So like 10% less metal for like 7 to 20 energy a second, which is not a lot, but in the early game, it gives you a more robust economy. Makes it a little easier to get your early production online at the cost of having, you know, less metal in order to use it. It's an interesting twist on the economy that the metal extractors also act like metal converters in and of themselves. And speaking of, it looks like the southern team is mostly dragging their metal sliders down to share with the team. Usually in coordinated team games, communism is the way to go, where everyone shares the entirety of their proceeds, and they coordinate to see who's going to be spending the most of it, for the good of the team, of course. The battle continuing, some more goblins being added in, but the amount of artillery, they've got anti-air coverage. Some Medusas are holding to the north side for the northern team, but this push continues to be making progress. Continues to be making progress. That was a great sentence. Amazing. It appears the Medusas have almost enough damage to knock out one of their counterparts in a single volley. But so does a D-gun! Huge D-guns coming through. Wipes out the front line. Anti-air having some trouble dealing... Are those martyrs? Oh, no. No. Martyrs are the dive bombers. I'm not sure if there are any on the field at the moment. But the sieges continue on both sides. Oh no, Jimmy! Always a struggle with the camera work. There's so much to cover in so little time. Things escalate very quickly here. Only 700 units on the map at the moment. I'm not sure if that counts the drones from this drone carrier, which are helping defend. Honestly, the drone's quite good against defending small run-bys at Tier 1. But 3 Medusas is... but the Prometheus is cutting through on either side. The heat rays, definitely something you can manipulate. They will go right through your friendly units if their target is on the other side of them. The Prometheus just smashing into one another and burninating across the countryside. Meanwhile, goblins, but behind it, gladiators. The goblins were just trying to hold the line, but the grunts fighting against the gladiators, overwhelming them. The flanking damage, attacking from multiple sides, gives that damage bonus. And so far, the Tier 1 units overrunning the isolated higher Tier 1s. But the Prometheus cutting through everything, cauterizing the attack. And for like the 7th time this game, as is customary, someone calls GG. What are those? Are those on fire? Those just looked like normal. Maybe they were just being targeted. I think that was... Oh, it was the glow from the targeting systems on the Medusa. And the Prometheus goes down under withering. Yeah, the targeting systems just automatically locking on to the goblins. A lot of progress to the south, but overall the southern team has the economic lead, but has only produced 2% more metal throughout this game. Randy trying to hold the line. 2 commanders to 1. The last commander is back at home, but Tier 3 has been activated. Finally, we get to see the Legion Gantry, which does have some placeholders from the Cortex, but with access to the Karis Assault Tank, which is just essentially your strongest frontline option, the Daedalus, more of an artillery tank, the Praetorian, which is kind of a budget titan, the Javelin, similar to the Marauder, a raiding unit, the Astreus is a long-range plasma cannon with legs, the Sol Invictus is a juggernaut if it really likes setting things on fire. In fact, that's probably the best description I can come up with. Meanwhile, a Bastion energy defense turret. Gotta be very careful with that one as well, but this is the perfect positioning. Sweeping through everything that comes up to the high ground. Those grunts. Yeah, that's, good luck. The field is strewn with the wreckage of the attempts. Meanwhile, Resbot's trying to bring the commanders back up, but the rockets are blocking everything out. Another volley. Continually slamming. Prometheus exchanging fire in the literal sense, but the Karis... Wow. Miniguns, it has a riot cannon and rotary cannons. So, one big single target weapon, and then the machine guns to chew through everything else. So far, seem to be pretty good against one another as well, but they have a lot of HP. And the rockets blasting, though, from long range. Gotta be sure to keep it on target. But they're chasing down the Medusa with more Karis. Not a Karis in the world. I'm excited to learn the pronunciations of these from the comments. Those Medusa making all the difference. Into Club coming very close, but maybe a bit dangerously so. Do they have radar? There is no radar here. So they don't actually see the commander. And that means a D-gun can double kill, knocks it out, gets a Medusa for flavor. A huge swipe there, and wipes out almost, that was like 7,000 metal in a single sweep. Into Club. Retreating back now. But that is a huge chunk of the potential army. The army values are 31 to 35k. Still in favor of the northern team, which is rallying the Karis across the map. Goblins streaming out of the bot labs, tier 1. Meanwhile, though, Praetorians on the field. Wait, is that a Praetorian? No, that's a Javelin. I'm like, that doesn't look nearly as intense enough. But those are the Javelins, 1,200 metal, a lot of DPS, relatively quick. Clearly angling for some sort of backstab, maybe front stab, just stab in general. That's what Javelins do. And the lines drawn on either side. A push forward. Up to the north. An attempt to cross the river. But the Rubicon will remain for now. Though to the south, DME pushing forward. Vic finally finding that critical mass again into Club. It falls upon him. Those D-guns have to be on point if he misses any. If he doesn't find the timing. Oh, he gets D-gun, but he kind of missed a volley. And now he's uncloaked, and there goes the commander! Oh, no! Not quite able to get the shots he was looking for. A big risk. And still 2 of the tanks remain. They may have killed the momentum for now, but I don't think this push will be stopped with that. And losing a commander at this stage, it's 2 to 1 left. You only have so many to spend. The standoff to the north, the lines are drawn. The Legion musters on either side. Meanwhile, Vic is going forward. There should be radar here. I'm incredibly surprised there's not. Looks like radar has been targeted for either side. But Vic, able to take out the tanks and showing in the club how he should have done it the first time. He sweeps the field. Amphibious tanks, the Cetus. We're stuck in a hill here. Sneak by. They went past the river, so they circumvented a lot of the defenses and are now cutting into the backline economy. The energy converters can be targeted. Will be taken down. The entire line chains together. Some javelins coming out to slice through. Meanwhile, to the north side, the tanks bridging the gap. A Karis and some Prometheus, but I think there's enough here to defend. Yeah, so there's between the javelins, the tier 1, and even more turrets. But the army value is so far in favor of the northern team. It's hard to see it turning around. Medusa blasting through. Resbots holding. Repairing as many of the Karis as possible. Resbots gathering in a very precarious position. Bastion may be enough to stall them out for now. The last bastion indeed. But something needs to change quickly for the pro team. Otherwise, they're going to be overrun. There's simply too many units. The army value is nearly double for the northern team. There's a whole bunch of turrets. Bombardier, grenade launcher defenses. Somewhat unique. They don't cost any energy to fire. Have decent range here from the Legion. But that is 5 tanks blasting through. Meanwhile, more coming through the center. Aircraft on either side sweeping in. The fighters getting sliced out of the sky by anti-air and fighters alike. The numbers aren't here. The grenade launchers aren't enough to stop the Karis. And if they get to the production, this is the majority of it. Meanwhile, the front line will be stopped for now. Karis pushing all the way through, but another bastion is online. We'll light up the heat rays and hold the tanks for now. But the front is broken across the board. The defenses won't hold forever. One commander remains. Randy in the corner. Resbot's trying to patch everything back together, but the economy, the sheer level of production is too high. There's just too much. And you see Vic putting the team on his back. At least, well, Mirrored was clearly the macro player, sending units to his teammates. A bit more even distribution for the team to the south, but maybe they needed a hero. They needed a victor, if you would. Is that the Legion geothermal? Wow, that looks sick. And those are the fusions. Legion, an original faction. Armada and Cortex, to my understanding, based on their Total Annihilation counterparts. So, a bit more obvious if limited. But Legion is designed to be an addition to the game that is unique to beyond all reason. And it prevails and is defeated on this day. Vic, Mirrored, and Aiden able to push through with a decisive victory. The D-guns making the difference and helping push through, but generally, maintaining that map control and that pressure seemed to be overwhelming. Interesting that both teams focused on the Legion units. I'm not sure if that's because they think they're stronger, they're new, or they just like them more. I look forward, I hope we can have some tournaments where teams are limited to a single faction as well. That's where the real balance complaints come in. But so far, I really like the direction of Legion. I think it has a lot of cool, unique ideas. Though, obviously, everything needs some balance. So hopefully, you enjoyed. Make sure to check out the Discord. The 50,000 Discord member event is coming up soon. And you can make it happen a little bit quicker. I'm hearing there's 50 versus 50 matches coming up because we want to break the servers again. And that's where you can put the feedback and test out new features for Legion and in general. All right, this game is made for the people, by the people. And hopefully, you people enjoy. Thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. Make sure to check out the streams if you enjoy the videos as well. Otherwise, good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. And stay unreasonable. Thank you for watching.